Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show, Friday, January 23rd, 2015, with another eBay video. Today we're going to do something a little different, and hopefully if I can get this fine-tuned, it'll be something I'll do forever. I've always had the idea of listing my topics on a whiteboard, and a bunch of people have written in and actually suggested it. And I finally got around to getting one, which we'll discuss in a second. But I really got to figure out a way to position it behind me so you guys can read it well. I do not have an easel. Alright? Let's take a look at the board now, and then we'll go through it. And hopefully next week it'll be a little bit more fine-tuned. There we go. Okay, I'm going to walk over to it. Here's what we're going to discuss this week. First of all, Crazy New York Driver Show, the date, January 23rd. This is a little about me. For those of you who don't know me, my eBay ID is Hubcap Joe's. I have 100% positive feedback. I have 0.64 defects. I'm a top-rated seller, and I'm a genuinely cool dude. Today's topics: PayPal case, item not received, defects, Facebook groups, e-commerce sites, hassle-free returns, China big box sellers, hopefully also combining orders, local pickups, and of course, thank you for your views. And of course, there's just no haters, scammers, and flip-flops allowed. You know, give it a little levity. But let's get started with the video. And hopefully I'll cover everything you guys wanted to know. Alright, my first question, guys. Do you like the new whiteboard idea, and can you give me an idea where I could position it for maximum visibility during the video? I was at the store the other day. They didn't have any easels. I might buy one if I can come across one. And don't worry, I'm absorbing all the cost of this. I'm not one of these people that's going to ask for donations so they can go to the movies in the middle of the day all alone. I believe in shouldering my own responsibilities, and my responsibility is to bring an informative eBay and PayPal video, hopefully. Let's hope I can pull it off this week. Now you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this PayPal hat. I'm not one for wearing hats, but it serves two functions: hiding a bad haircut, and it'll remind me to tell you guys the story about the PayPal item not received case. So I guess I'll just start off with that one right now. In last week's video, I told you the story about somebody who opened a case on eBay stating they had an item not received when the tracking clearly showed it was received. As you probably remember, everything worked out in the end. eBay stood behind me. And the person eventually actually found the box. The box was in their house the whole time. They didn't do due diligence, and they didn't look, and they eventually did find it. So good. That worked out. But now I had yet another one who claimed they didn't get the item when the tracking clearly showed they got it. And I want to tell you that I do not believe the person was trying to scam me at all. It was a very cheap item, and she checked the tracking, and she said to me, it shows that it was delivered to my mailroom, but the mailroom never sent it up to me. So obviously she's working in an office, and she didn't put her office number on or whatever. So she opened the case through PayPal, and PayPal gives you a choice. Do you want to communicate with the buyer, or do you want to escalate it to PayPal? And since the tracking number is right there given, I just shot it right up to PayPal. I sent it right up to them, and within 20 minutes they found in my favor and released the funds, which I think is great. Okay? They did the right thing. I mean, it wasn't a big dollar value, but it's just the principle of the thing. As long as the buyer receives the item, we should be covered, and it appears that we are covered. I'd like to talk next. I've read your concerns and your comments in last week's video, and I'd like to thank every one of you who watched the video. I think the count is at around 1,200 views, which is pretty good, I think. Thank you for watching it. Thank you for your comments. Quite a few of you people called me and wanted to talk about certain issues. I had quite a few people ask about getting into the Facebook groups, and I was able to actually place a few of you in this week. If you want to go into the Facebook groups, guys, I need to know who you are. All right? You can either contact me right here through YouTube, and if you're going to do that, I suggest you PM me personally, or you can contact me through email, crazeenydriver@AOL.com, and I want to see your eBay ID and your Facebook. I'm not being mean or judgmental. I just want to be sure you have no affiliations with the stalker. That's it. All right? Not much to ask. I'll gladly place you. I placed a few this week, and they're happy, and hopefully they're learning a lot in the groups. I find the Facebook groups to be extremely helpful for when an eBay problem arises and you don't have an hour and a half to spend on the phone waiting for eBay customer service. Just go right into the Facebook groups, post your question, and you'll have an answer, I guarantee you, within 2 minutes. Or at least it will be somebody's suggestion, but you'll have a response within 2 minutes. It's very good. Defects. My defect rate is 0.64%, which is very good and very respectable. But one thing that concerned me is I have 2 defects showing on my chart that go back to January the 8th, 2014. And even on the 1-year look back, that's well over a year. I talked to David, and he said they would fall off on the 20th, but they're still appearing on my second chart. What I mean by my second chart is when you go to your My eBay and you check your seller dashboard, when you click on it, the first chart that comes up will show your defect percentage, 0.64, and it will list just a basic, how many items you had not as described, how many negative feedbacks you had. But when you then, on the lower link, click on expand the report, then you can see actually the precise items in which you got the defects on, and that's where my complaint lies, because I'm still carrying 2 from January the 8th, 2014. And Dave's telling me that, well, maybe the 2 on the second chart don't count against you right now, but my point is the 2 on the second chart shouldn't even be on the second chart if they're from January the 8th, 2014. That's something that needs to be discussed in the future. In the last few weeks, I've been talking about China sellers, big box China sellers. And I came across something the other night that blew my mind. Absolutely, I'm still bugged out about it. So what happened is, Wednesday night, I logged on to eBay because I needed to find a few hubcaps for customers. Now, I prefer to buy them on eBay, but it's so difficult because anytime you type in a name brand, you're going to get pages and pages of China sellers. I don't want China sellers, all right? I want USA sellers. And a couple of people suggested, well, Joe, when you do your search, check off that you want USA sellers only. And while that sounds like a good idea, it's an epic fail. And I'll prove it to you right now. So what I did was I went for USA sellers only. And immediately, I'm still being spammed with all this China crap. This one auction came up right near the top, and I could look at the items right away, and I knew that they were cheap aftermarket. But that didn't really concern me because I can tell the difference. But what bugged me out was there was a big banner that said USA seller. So I'm thinking, okay, let me check into this a little bit. So I checked into it, and boy, did my jaw drop. My jaw dropped, and I was so astounded by what I saw, I immediately made a video. I think it's about 8-minute, I don't want to call it a rant, but an 8-minute video of me pointing out the glaring violations in this one listing. Now you're probably wondering why you haven't seen the video. That's because I didn't upload it yet. First I want to talk to you about it, and then I want your opinion. in your humble opinion, should I upload this video? Okay? First, let me tell you about the glaring defects in this one listing. Number one, the pictures were not up to eBay code. You know how when you are looking at a listing and you mouse over the picture, it will enlarge and it will magnify? Well, this guy's pictures didn't do that. Not a big deal. He then had a big banner saying USA seller, and his location was stated as San Diego, California, which is fine. However, he had so many negative feedbacks. I think there were 58 of them, and I checked his negs, and they were saying things like, do not buy here, the seller is a liar, he's shipping from China, or shipping takes 2 weeks from China, all that kind of stuff, where he's obviously misrepresenting his location. Now, his description of the parts are that they're OEM replacement, but they're really aftermarket, okay? In his description, he has a question and answer field, and one of his questions that caught my eye is, why do the items I received look different than the items in the picture? And then he'll write, if you do not agree to the terms of this auction, do not bid. Sometimes the items will look a little differently when you get them than they appear in the picture. What kind of crap is that? Then he is using, and you're not going to believe this, guys, he is using the old eBay Power Seller logo that was retired many years ago. Any one of you guys know that if you try to use that eBay Power Seller logo, eBay is going to slap you in the face and yank the auction. It happened to me about 5 years ago. Hey, I'm not complaining. I was wrong. I had relisted an item from a while back, and I didn't realize the Power Seller logo was in it, and they slapped me for it, and I removed it. And I have no complaint with that. But how does this guy get away with it? The reason I didn't upload the video is because I don't want to sound like I'm a hater or just a bummer. I should tell you that when I made the video, I even took the extra precautions to hide the seller's user ID. So anyone that looks at this video, if I do upload it, will not be able to tell who did this, but they will be able to tell that it's being done on eBay Motors. You know what? I've got the video on my Mac here right now. If you just give me 1 second to get up, I just want to cue it up to a certain point, because you're not going to believe this. You're just not going to believe this. I hope you can see this, guys. Look right here. The old eBay Power Seller logo. That is a huge policy violation right there. He's photoshopped it in to his picture right here. And you can clearly say it's USA seller, fast shipping. That is not the case. He's shipping out of China. But alright, my quick question to you guys is, do you guys think I should upload that video? I don't want to seem like I'm a hater, because a few of you guys still call me an eBay fanboy. Tom Taylor says I'm the last eBay fanboy. I was talking to Tom on the phone the other day, and yes, I agree with part of what he's saying. I am an eBay fanboy. But I'm willing to bet some of you guys are eBay fanboys too. And I'd like you guys to say it in the comments below. Do we have any other eBay fanboys out there besides me? If so, step up. If you want to remain a closet eBay fanboy, that's your business. I have no problem with it. But I think it's time we fly the colors, all right? Flying the colors doesn't mean that we should sit back and get abused. If something happens like this China seller or these China sellers who are listing their locations here in the US and they're really shipping from China and using the Power Seller logo, that's the kind of stuff we need to speak out about. That's my feeling anyway. But alright, let's move on to some other topics. E-commerce bites. There's another article I'd like you guys to check out saying how eBay traffic is way down. Sadly, I agree. My sales this week are slower than my sales last week, and I'd like to know if you guys are slower than last week, the same, or better. Last week I mentioned about local pickups, and several people wrote in about that. I don't think you guys quite understood where I was going, or some of you didn't quite get it. I had mentioned about you could get a defect if you don't show tracking for local pickups. And then somebody, it might have been David, said, well, you can get around that if you check off local pickups ahead of time. And that's fine. But my point was not so much the defects. My point was the fact that you guys with the auctions, you're the guys that got to worry. Because suppose a guy wins your item. Let's just say it's 40 bucks, 50 bucks. He wins your item and you have local pickup checked off. All right? So you can't get a defect. And then he says to you, listen, I have no intention of paying you for this item at this point. However, I'm going to be in your neighborhood next month or in 3 weeks, and I'll pay you for it then. That's really the point I was trying to convey. Because guys, it happened to me twice in 1 month back when I used to do auctions. 2 different people won my item and said, Joe, now keep in mind, in all fairness, I didn't take PayPal back then, but I did take other payments. I took ProPay, I took money orders back in the day, and both said, Joe, no way. We're not paying you until we're in your neighborhood, and it won't be this month, it'll be next month. Well, that ain't gonna fly with me, and it shouldn't fly with you. After 4 days, or back then I think it was maybe 7 or 8 days, I opened an unpaid item case. Both guys got a strike. Then both guys appealed their strike, got them removed, and both guys negged me. Because in those days you could do it. Now they can't neg you today. I don't believe they can if they don't pay for your item. But what I'm saying is they can tie you up and they can withhold payment, and I don't think it's right. But you guys, you do what works for you. I'm just giving you my opinion. About combining shipping. This is kind of a ponderous topic. I like to combine shipping whenever possible. Now I'm not sure about eBay Core, but on eBay Motors, if a guy buys an item from me, let's say at 4 o'clock, pays with PayPal, then buys an item at 4:30, pays with PayPal, same guy, same address, I physically cannot combine the shipping through eBay. Okay? I can't check off item, and then click on print shipping labels. It'll give me an error message. It doesn't do this for everyone, just a small percentage of people. It may be an eBay Motors problem, I don't know. But I have 2 choices what I could do. I could sell them, I could ship them separately for top dollar and pay double, or I could ship them together, print out the one tracking label, then cut and paste that shipping label number into the field for the second item. That's what I've been doing, and it seems to be working. All right? But I just think it's kind of bogus that we can't do it the regular way. Hassle-free returns. This is a big complaint in the Facebook groups. Those of the guys who are opted into hassle-free returns are continually saying they're being abused, and buyers are clicking the snag button so they don't have to pay the return shipping. Now I expected that to happen. That doesn't surprise me. That's why I'm not in hassle-free returns. Recently somebody took a poll, and I think, I'm serious, 80% of the Facebook group was in hassle-free returns. Joe is not. So I'm taking a poll right now. What percentage of you guys are in hassle-free returns? Comment below. You are or you aren't. Alright. Basically, that's going to cover all for this week. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I'm already running long as I can see. What I'd really like you guys to discuss, although you're welcome to discuss any eBay issue. Number 1, the China sellers. Do you think I should upload that video of the big box China seller with all those glaring violations? Keep in mind, there's no way he's going to be identified through the video. I went through a lot of trouble to make sure his name was not in there. Number 2, do you guys have any idea how or where I can put this whiteboard so it would be really visible without actually drilling it into the wall? Because sometimes I make my videos home and sometimes I make them here. It all depends. All right, and if you have any other, comments or topics or anything you want to say, just remember, guys, I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Thanks for watching. I'm going to close out this video with a close-up of the sign, my whiteboard. It looks cool, I think. If you have any suggestions, do you think I should write bigger? If you have any suggestions, don't worry about hurting my feelings, guys. This channel is a give and take. Say whatever you want. Respectfully, though, okay? Thanks for watching, guys. Rock on.